Well, good afternoon, and how are we all? And welcome to Bloo's Budgeting Live, Season 2, Episode 1, where we are going to look today at Urban Homesteading 101, basically. What is homesteading and how you can make some money off it. Okay, because, I think people get a little bit scared of trying to do stuff to make themselves a little bit more self-sufficient and stuff because they're worried about the money outlay. But if they know that they can get a bit of money back to help pay for the next lot, then that's a good thing, right? Okay, so who have we got in chat? Hi, Annie. Hi, Annette. How are you doing, my darling? Paw, hello. Okay, so first off, we're going to go into what is a homestead. Okay, so a homesteader, and I'm reading, so, I'm getting there. I'm reading, because I've written lots of stuff. Okay, so back a couple of 100 years ago, it meant homesteading or a homesteader was someone who goes to live and grow crops on land given by the government, especially in the past. In the 1800s, thousands of homesteaders settled on the prairies of the western US. Okay, these days, it's a completely different story. Well, yeah, mostly it's a completely different story. Let's be honest. Okay, so homesteading is a lifestyle of self-sufficiency. Okay, it is characterized by subsistence agriculture, home preservation of food, and may also involve the small scale production of textiles, clothing, and craft work for household use or sale. Which means more and more people are looking to live a homesteading life where they are in an urban setting, as the cost of moving to the country or rural areas can be more than many can afford. Okay, so urban homesteaders are people who are living in an urban environment like we do. We live in a city, a major city. And yeah, not a major city. We live we do live in a city. It's not a major city, but it is a central city. And yeah, so because we live a self-sufficient lifestyle, we are classified as urban homesteaders. Ta-da! Now, there are many reasons that people might want a homestead. Okay. It could be for health reasons. It could be wanting to have a healthier lifestyle when it comes to specific diets and stuff like that. So you might want to be growing a little bit of your own stuff or making a lot more food from scratch, or, just in general trying to be a bit more healthier and a bit more self-sufficient when it comes to food. It could be to do with the cost of living crisis, because here in the UK it is severe and it's not looking like it's going to change much for the next couple of years, except to go up and up and up. So having little or no choice but to start growing your own food and cooking and preserving from scratch due to the rising cost of living. So to offset energy costs, people are turning to alternative ways of getting food and stuff, because obviously food is going up in price as well. Some people look to go a more self-sufficient sort of homesteading life because they're saving money. Now, it might be for saving for a large purchase, or it may be for paying off debt and feel the need to live a simpler, cheaper life to be able to do that as quickly as possible, which is a good thing, So, no one wants to be stuck with debt. No one wants to be stuck in that situation. But, if they live a simpler life and can do that, then, they get to pay it off quicker. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing all around. It's one less thing to worry about, right? Okay. And another reason might be life skills. Some people become homesteaders as they want to have the skills needed to survive and live should a crisis occur, whether personally, locally, nationally, or even globally, that could affect their quality of life for a short, medium, or extended period of time. Okay, so that is the outline of homesteading, what it is, and, you know, why we do it in an urban environment, you know? So what I want to really, really touch on today is, okay, so a lot of people want this lifestyle. They want to be able to be more self-sufficient, more cooking from scratch, more buying just basic ingredients. They don't want to be buying a lot of pre-made food. They don't want to be doing all of that because they can't afford to. They want to start trying to grow their own food and all of that kind of stuff. All of the above mentioned, yeah. So, you know, it's really, really important, I think, to look at the ways that you can make it pay for itself, or at least part pay for itself. Okay. And that's, hey, Ginger, how are you, honey? Good morning. Yep, I got coffee. You go get yourself a pot of coffee. I'm not sure if I can drink this yet. Oh, no, I'm still on the water for a minute. That's hot. Okay, so I think outlining a few different ways that urban homesteading can pay for itself, or at least part pay for itself, so that people don't have to worry about the cost of running a self-sufficient life, okay? Because it shouldn't be out of reach. If anything, it should be able to pay for itself somewhat, and it should be able to make life easier for people, not harder. Okay, so I want to outline a few ways of doing that before we get into everything else down the track. Okay, so once you've decided to start on the road to self-sufficiency, you immediately find that there can be quite a lot of money to outlay at first. Finding ways to recoup some of that outlay so that it becomes less of a hardship is important. Further down the track, you may find that you can even turn a small profit with some of the ways that you may choose to do that. Okay, so the reasons you would want to do it is so that you can pay for more tools and equipment or materials, perhaps even pay for food for any livestock that you may have, because depending on your circumstances, where you live, what your local ordinance says and all of that kind of stuff will depend on whether you have animals. Okay. You may even find, depending on, pardon me, how much you're actually making doing this, that you can actually start saving towards a larger goal of either having an actual property with land or being able to afford an allotment if that's more to your preference. So, or you may be able to go up to a local farmer and say, look, I want to rent an acre of land off you for growing food or whatever. So, if you're making a little bit of extra money on the side, you might be able to do any of those things once you've got your own debts paid off and all of that sort of stuff, and you're clearing all the money that you're outlaying. Okay. So most people, when they start looking at having an income, they start with one thing. It's better to start with one thing so that you have a grasp on it. You know where you're going with it. You know what to expect. But then having a diverse range of skills and products tends to make life a little easier, because if you're only making a certain amount from your chickens, and of course your chickens go into a state in winter where they don't want to, lay eggs, so you're not able to sell as many, you've got another income that's coming in that can offset that. So, it's good to have a diverse range of things that you're, got going on. Okay. Obviously, the space you're in may not be suitable for animals of any variety. Okay. But most are able to keep a few quail, maybe a couple of rabbits. Most councils in the UK allow up to 4, some of them 6 chickens, depending on how big your backspace is. Okay, it's also a matter of your own preference and what you feel you can cope with on a work-wise level, as well as the noise issues that may arrive or even smell. And depending on your neighbors, that might be an issue. Okay. Most urban homesteaders try to at least have a couple of chickens for eggs. They may or may not choose to dispatch their birds for eating, as it'll mean another year of allowing babies to grow up, and that's another outlay and all of that kind of stuff, right? So they may not do that. Depends how desperate they are or if it's a necessity. Okay, so let's look at some of the ways that we can earn some money from the urban homestead. So first off, if you have got birds, you've got sales of eggs. If you're allowed to have bees, you're lucky enough to have bees. You can have honey, or there are some urban homesteads that are allowed to have a couple of goats, but you got to have a pretty big piece of land for that. So I'm just saying. Hey, CNC, how you doing, Ashley? You can have 4 hens here. Paw. Yay. Oh, yeah. And he's got it hot. We got it cold. So, egg laying, or eggs, not egg laying. We can't lay eggs. I don't know about you, but I'm not very good at that. But egg selling is a really good way of earning money. And especially at times when eggs are ridiculous prices like they are now. Okay, people are normally willing to pay a reasonable price, but in saying that, you also must allow some profit on top to cover your time. Okay, and that's on top of the cost of feed, bedding, housing, vet bills, and replacements should anything happen to them. Okay, many people are willing to pay a little extra when they know that they're backyard birds. And if you have space for a small pond, which could just be a baby bath or like a kiddie pool or something, and have a couple of ducks, you will earn extra money selling duck eggs. And, the same with quail eggs and pigeons. Like, obviously not the pigeon eggs. People don't tend to buy pigeon eggs, but they will buy pigeons. And quails are really easy to keep. I don't want to go into a lot of the animal husbandry of it, but really, if you've got a large rabbit hutch, you can keep half a dozen quail in one of those, as long as it's got room to run around and access to fresh greens and stuff. They're pretty low maintenance and low space as well, so that's kind of cool. And they're not as stinky as chickens or ducks. I'm just saying, especially not the ducks. Okay, so also bees. If you are able to keep bees, lucky you, number 1. Number 2, when they start to swarm because there's too many of them, you could actually sell the swarm to somebody else who wants the bees, but then you also get to sell the products of those, the honey, the royal jelly, the beeswax, all of that. You've got to check with your local authorities, though, about the rules on beekeeping. Some allotments over here will allow you to keep bees, but not all of them. And backyard bees are pretty few and far between unless you have a very large garden as well. So you do need to keep an eye on what's allowed and stuff. $4 a dozen is the going rate round here. Same price at Walmart and Aldi. Hens here are between $5 and $7. Wow. Eggs here are, wow, hang on. Eggs here are between $5 and $7. Holy poop. We primarily grow our own produce. However, I'm researching how to make sugar scrubs, lip balms, etc. Yeah, we're going to get onto that. So also, meat, wool, hides, furs, and bone are all products from livestock that you can sell. Whether prepared or fresh, it depends on your local authorities again and what the laws are where you live. So please do double check before you try and sell anything, okay? Obviously, that last bit about meat and stuff is about rabbits and chickens and things like that. It's not about, you know, bigger livestock. There are very specific rules about it over here, and you need to look into those before you even think about it. So yeah. So number 2 is you can sell your excess seedlings. All gardeners tend to start off with many more seeds than they will ever need themselves or have room to grow, especially if you're an urban gardener, right? Or urban homesteader. Offering these seedlings to other gardeners, either as a barter for different seedlings that you're not growing, or at a local farmer's market, or even setting up a table at your own home on the driveway or whatever, may be a good way to not only encourage your neighbors to grow some of their own veg and flowers, but also give them a way of starting out without huge expense and worry of growing from seeds. Paid $7.82 for 18 carton of eggs yesterday at Walmart. Dude, what I can say, our price of eggs is not like that. I'm thinking of getting a brooder box and hatching them next year. Yes! Selling more mature plants. Okay, so some plant companies offer hundreds of plug plants on a specific variety of plant for extremely discounted prices. Okay. If you're able and have the space, growing them into a 1-year maturity can be a very good way of earning some extra money. You can get to keep the ones that you can use and pass the others on to others who would prefer to give you their money than the supermarket or franchise stores down the road. Okay, so last year I purchased 72 plug plants of lavender. I have 24 of them that have survived, you know, and I can sell those reasonably for £5 each. Thank you very much. Okay. They say it's bird flu. Wouldn't there be wild birds falling out of the sky? Poor, it doesn't quite work like that. And if you've seen birds that have got avian flu, they tend to be already on the ground because they can't fly. And it's pretty, they're pretty sad. But over here, they are blaming avian flu for the price of eggs. But the truth of the matter is this over here right now, because the farmers have actually come out and said it. And they've been saying, do not let your supermarkets lie to you. There is no avian flu this year. We have not had an issue with it. No one's had to put their flocks down or any of that. None of them. What they're doing is that the stores have put all the prices up and refuse to pass on any additional payment to the farmers. So the farmers have been keeping hold of their eggs. It's got nothing to do with the flu over here at all. It's got to do with greedy supermarkets refusing to pay farmers what their eggs are worth. So, yeah. I paid $14 for a 30-count pack of eggs last week. What? I'm definitely going to try and sell my starts this year. Actually tossed some last year because I had too much. Yeah. Yeah, it is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. But yeah, don't let them fool you. The greed is absolute crap. But if you have ever watched an animal that a bird that has got avian flu, they can't fly. They can't fly. They may do in the very, very early stages, like the first couple of days, but they won't fall out of the sky. They will land, and they will curl up and basically die because they can't fly. They just can't do anything. It's awful. Okay, so third is, selling more mature plants. So like I said, I've now got 2 dozen of these lavender plants that are out the back. They've been matured and made hardy through being outside all winter. So they're going to be very, very strong plants to sell. And I'll probably sell them for a $5 each. You know, the supermarkets and the garden centers and stuff are selling them for like anywhere between $7 and $10 each for the same size. So some of them are even selling them for 15. So I reckon 5 is good. 5 is good. Okay. Number 4 is you can sell your seeds. Now, once you've got your garden all set up and you are able then to start collecting your own seeds, and you've proven to yourself a couple of times, like, you know, over a couple of years that, you know, your saved seed is working, then you can start passing on your seeds to other people. You know, you can start selling your seeds. Now, you can sell them on eBay, you can sell them on Facebook Marketplace, you can sell them wherever you want, you know, but, you know, be very careful with that as well. Try and make sure that you've got a really good germination rate. Check them out before, if you're going to do that kind of thing, before you start selling them. Chicken feed has skyrocketed too. Yeah, exactly. They are very expensive in the store. Okay, so growing specific crops. All right. In self-sufficiency and urban homesteading, we like to make as much use of every possibility and bit of space. Growing all kinds of things can not only expand your own pantry, but leave you with gluts of produce that you may find you can earn quite a nice little bit of pocket money from, like mushrooms. Growing special varieties of mushrooms can not only become a bit of an addictive hobby, and I will say I'm very addicted to this kind of thing, because I will sit there all day and watch them. I'm terrible because they grow so fast. They literally grow in front of your eyes. But it can also expand into a rather lucrative little earner. It's not only the locals that may want your mushrooms. Local coffee shops and cafes may be interested in purchasing some of your produce as well. This also goes for other products as well, especially hard to source and forgotten varieties of vegetables and fruit, especially in season. Okay, so, you know, if you know the people that run your local coffee shop, you know, make friends with them, because you never know, they might want to take some of your stuff, but make sure they pay for it. Okay. You're not a charity. Okay, that doesn't mean that you can't give some of your stuff to the food bank, because you can, but to offset that, make sure you sell some of it as well. Okay. Oh, what happened? Oh, Sue D, hello. Hello, darling. Welcome, and thank you for subscribing. Okay, so making food products with your glut produce. If you keep a very clean home and are willing to get the environmental health officer in to inspect your kitchen and storage areas, you could be well making lots of yummy things from home. This could be sauces, chutneys, relishes, pickles, preserves, preserved ingredients, dehydrated veg and fruit, home smoked meats, herbal tea blends, whatever, right? Okay. Whatever you make for your home, you can make to sell. So you keep enough for you. You might have 6 jars left over. Go and flog them. Finding a local farmer's market where you can set up a table is a great place to sell some of your products, and maybe put a couple of jars, one of each of what you have, out on the table on the driveway with your plants and seedlings. That way, if people want more than one, they have to knock on your door. Okay. So if people want to, if there are a few dodgy people around who might want to either nick stuff or, you know, make a mess with it, you're only losing 1 jar. Okay. Giving you the opportunity to talk to them about what they may like in the future, or what you are looking to make next season or later in the year. We can sell some stuff here. Hi, Janet. How are you, darling? We can sell some stuff here without inspection. Just have to list ingredients and cottage law on the label. Nice. Okay, so here the rule is this. You need to have the inspector around at the house, which is fine. That's not a problem. They'll only want to see your kitchen and where you're storing your ingredients, and that is pretty much it. But you do have to have, there are labeling laws that are separate to that. But if you have the environmental health officer around to check your house, he will then grade your kitchen, and that will be, different. But, most of them are pretty good. They realize it's a kitchen that you live in, but, obviously it's got to be kept to a certain standard. Every state is different. Yeah, every state is different. Every country is different. Just check your own laws, whatever's going on, right? So number 7, we've got arts and crafts. If you're going to a farmer's market and setting up a table, check if you need public liability insurance. Yeah, they will let you know that. Most public liability in Australia, you have to have, I think it's 5 million public liability insurance. It's not actually that expensive though. It's like 200 for the year. Pretty sure it's only like 200 for the year, not even that. And that covers you for all sorts of things. It's not just public liability insurance. Here, our public liability insurance was 200 because we're covered by, Tanny has business insurance, which covers us for everything. And it also has his life insurance attached to it as well. And we pay, I think we pay for that. It's something like, he pays something like £50 a month. It's like 25 to 50 bucks to put a table up at the closest market. Okay, but then you've got to have faith in what you're selling. I would go and look at the market that you're looking to put stuff up and go, right, okay, so this is what people are buying. This is the prices they're willing to pay. This is what I can do, So do your research. Do your research before you do any of this stuff. That's one of the biggest things. Do your research. Arts and crafts, number 7. Many homesteaders, whether urban or not, take to the indoors in the colder months and or in Annie's case, will stay indoors because that's where the air conditioning is in the summer, and turn to all kinds of indoor activities. Crocheting, knitting, sewing, woodwork, all kinds of other crafts that are useful to the homesteader or others are always a necessary commodity to others who aren't as good at it or who can't do it for themselves for whatever reason. Especially having a few things to sell around September, November time when people are looking for something individual and original for gifts for friends and family is the best time for selling handmade crafts. That also goes like if you have access to a lot of pallet wood or decking boards and stuff like that, and you're able to make little planter pots and things or tiered planter pots, all kinds of stuff. Whatever it is that you make, you could probably make some money with it. Doesn't mean that you have to turn because this is one thing I will say as well. Okay, a lot of us do a lot of these arts and crafts for our mental health. We do them because we enjoy doing them. It doesn't mean you have to turn it into a business. Okay, if you just enjoy doing it for the hell of it, just do it. You don't have to turn everything you do. And that, I think a lot of people get worried about that. But you don't have to be. Okay. Because, I had a friend who made the most amazing wedding dress for herself. And it had pockets. And everyone was like, oh, you should make them to sell. And she was like, well, I don't want to. I just wanted to make my own. So I did, and that's the bottom line. If you want to make it for yourself, that's fine. If you don't want to make it for somebody else, don't do it. Only these are just ideas. They're not saying you have to do all of these things, okay? And it's, you pick what is useful for you and what isn't. I'm planning on making some items and selling next November at some church craft fairs. Those are usually free to sell at. Brilliant. Brilliant. That's really cool. What I will say, though, is if you do have somewhere that is free to put a table up at, and you have a good day, you have a good sale day, pop some money in the donation box, just to be a bit fair. Okay. Right. Number 8, run workshops and teach. Okay. If you have the time, why not set up workshops either online? Now, online workshops don't have to be face-to-face. They can already be you've made the video or you've written out the book and people just pay for it and download it and watch it in their own time, sort of thing. An online workshop where it's like a Zoom call or something like that, obviously you've got to be there and you've got to include your time in that. All right. So workshops either online in a rented space like a community center or a church hall or something like that, somebody else's house. If you don't want to use your house, that's if you're comfortable doing so. Teaching the skills you've mastered as an urban homesteader. People are desperate to learn this stuff, and many are willing to pay. Some can't. Some can't pay. So that's a personal choice then, whether you want to donate some of your time to teach people like in a community center or a food bank or something like that, and offset that by charging other people, because your time is money, and I will get to that. Okay. But do your research, see what other people are doing, and if they're doing something similar, see what they're charging and charge a similar amount. Okay. However, you do have to work out your payment plan, though. Never think that you aren't worth that much. It's taken you months, if not years, to master your skill. Okay? This is why people that have got degrees and they are doing whatever it is that they got a degree in get paid for it, because they are back paying all of those years of study, because there's 4 to 7 years of study in most degrees, that they weren't getting paid anything for. So you have to take that into account. All right, now number 9. I need some water. Thanks, Ashley. I really appreciate that, darling. Writing ebooks and self-publish how-to books. Never not think that you can't do it. If you can't make the thing or teach the thing your experiences, if you can make the thing or teach the thing, your experiences, recipes, and knowledge, that's yeah, I made a typo. I'm going to have to change that. Whoops. Sorry. Knowledge is going to be lapped up by those who want it. Just because there's 5,000 other books out there doesn't mean that the world can't do without your take on it as well. Okay? You might have something in there that nobody else has. It might just be written in a way or set out in a way that suits somebody else that the other books don't. So don't think that you can't do it, because you can't do it. Self-publishing means you don't have to lay out any money up front, which a lot of publishing companies expect you to do, or drag yourself through the publishers from publisher to publisher, begging for someone to take you on. It means you can write it and publish it right now, and those who purchase it can either download it now or it will be printed on demand by the company you choose to sell your book through. I have a couple of books that I have written that have gone through lulu.com, and I've got no problems with them whatsoever. None. And I forget about it, and I forget I've got it. And then every 6 months or so, I'll go, oh, I wonder if I sold a book. And every now and again, I've got some money in there, and I'm just like, oh, that's kind of cool. You can also set it and forget it, and you will be informed when you have made a sale or collect your payment. It does, however, mean a lot of work on your part. Sharing it out on social media or purchasing a few copies for yourself, taking it to the local bookstore or garden center, or, you know, if it's a cookbook, then maybe, you know, your local cafe might have one, or, you know, any places like that, they may take a couple of copies from you, okay, and sell them on your behalf. That's if you want to do it that way. It is work for you, but it is also something you can set and forget and mention it when people ask you about it. You don't have to, you know, flog it all the time. You can, of course, advertise it on your own social media, and that brings us to blogs, vlogs, and social media. Okay, this is number 10. Sharing your urban homesteading journey on different social media platforms can not only work as a great diary for yourself, but also to put some money back into the coffers. It gives you a way to teach informally and advertise when you have special resources available that people can purchase, like your ebook or self-published cookbook. You may be able to put together patterns and instructions on making craft projects that you have created, video tutorials on or mentioned in a vlog or blog, and send people in the direction of either your own personal website or a page on a selling site. Just remember, not everyone becomes a social media viral hit in one night. And it may take many years before you even become monetized, let alone earning any money from it. However, it is an incredibly rewarding journey, and one where you will meet new friends and be able to share ideas, try new things, while learning new skills and sharing your journey with yourself and others as you do. Okay? Now, number 11. I was going to just leave it at 10, but I got one more, okay? This is really important. This one is really, really important, and it's the best commodity you've got. Sell yourself. Sell yourself. And I'm not talking about sitting under a street light on a Tuesday evening. What I'm saying is, once you've mastered a skill, people will start to notice. And they may ask you to do something for them in that skill you now know. Turn your passion and skills into another source of income. People pay well for skilled people, as they do not have the time to learn what you know if they need or want something right now. You are now a commodity that you can rent out, and your skills are what you sell. If you aren't sure what to charge someone, find out from others who are doing it, or look online at the going rates for that skilled person and place yourself in the higher end of the pay bracket. As an urban homesteader with unique skills, you are an artisan. This is your life. And if you choose to do something for someone else, then you charge what you are worth. Your time is time away from your homestead. Time you could be building the shelves and the shed you need. Charge them for it. What you charge is a reflection on how much you respect your own learning and skills, and will force others to see that too. This doesn't mean you can't help people or help a friend out. If it means someone has come to you specifically, then you make sure that they know you aren't playing around. Hey, Rebecca, how are you, darling? It's so good to see you. Annie, have I got your brain buzzing? That's awesome. Okay, so there are 11 ways to earn some money back from your urban homestead. With those things in mind, make sure you plan everything and do research before you start trying to earn money these ways, okay? Check what is best for you, what will work best for you. If you're working full-time, you may not have a lot of time to give, so a table on your driveway with an honesty box or a note to put the money through the door may be the best way for you. Nothing wrong with that. If you're at home full-time, either with kids or just because you are, like me, because I am, because I can't go to work anymore, then you have more time to devote to other tasks. If you do have kids, get them involved. Obviously, the babies won't get involved. I'm not that dumb, okay? But they are pretty good at holding space. If you need to, like, refelt the shed or something, just sit them there on the felt while you cut down the other end. It's really useful. They have their uses. While they're a little potato, a cute little potato, but they're still a potato. Check out your local markets and craft fairs, garden shows, seasonal events. If it's not out of reach price-wise, book a table. Always make sure you have all the legal documentation required by local councils and the wider powers that be. No one wants to have their stock confiscated their first time out in front of everybody, because there's going to be that one person. Knowing that you can make some money back from what you put out can help to soften the blow when it comes to thinking about what you may need to purchase to make your urban homestead dream a reality. Remember, whatever you decide you purchase for this life is an investment. It's an investment into your future for you and your family, and not just money frittered away. Make the most of it and work smarter to earn some of it back so your lifestyle can help to pay for itself. Okay. Oops. Yes, save that. Okay, so there we go. So does anyone have any questions? While I have a drink. I'm actually going to turn the light on. It's gone very dark in here. Oh. So yeah, urban homesteading. It's kind of like homesteading, but you're just doing it in a small space. Well, it is homesteading. You're just doing it in a small space. You're not you haven't got the farming section of it. Do you know what I mean? But it's still homesteading, and you can still make money doing it if that's what you want to do. You can make it pay for itself. It's not that difficult to do that. So yeah. Thank you, Pawpaw. I worked very hard on that. Now, over the next few weeks, I will be doing a lot of these sessions because I have actually, I am writing a Urban Homesteading Introduction 101. And that will be available as a download on my website when I can get the shop set up. The money that will be raised from that will be going towards buying compost pots and seeds so that I can grow veg seedlings and flower seedlings and herb seedlings for an organization here in York that actually supplies edible seedlings, for the majority of it, to people at food banks. So that's what I'm going to be doing with the money from it. The more I can raise, the more I can do, and the better it's going to be. Okay. So yeah, that'll be happening. That'll be released as soon as I can organize it. It's going to take me a while though. So it's probably over the next 6 months that I'm going to be doing these sessions on the Friday. Yeah, be listening while prepping for a canning session. Awesome. Thank you, Ashley. Yes, hit the thumbs up. Okay, so I'm also hoping that over the next few months and as we go, I might be able to get some guests up here who are urban homesteaders, and have a chat with them and see how they're finding it and what they do and all of that kind of stuff. Next week, we'll be looking at another section of the kinds of things that we'll be having a very quick look at, an introductory look to some of the skills and stuff that you'll be learning as an urban homesteader. Okay, and maybe some of the planning and decision making kind of stuff that you would want to, oh, for goodness sakes. I'm going to have to turn that off. Sorry. Hiya. What a great thing to donate, Bloo. To Bloo, you're... Oh! No, see, look, you know, people are really doing it tough. I'm not going to lie. Over here, people are so desperate that I can't even describe to you how desperate people are. And they're not just people who are on benefits. These are people who are frontline workers. These are our nurses, our fire brigade. These are our railway workers. These are our postal workers. These are people who keep the country going. You know, there was a list a mile long, which is why everybody's on strike. And it's not just about pay, because these people haven't had a pay rise in 12 years. Okay? They haven't. But it's also about conditions, because, you know, a lot of the conditions are really, really bad, and they're heinous. Let's be honest. So they're trying to fight for better conditions as well, which is really, really important. So a lot of them are doing without. A lot of them at the food banks, they're not, you know, and that was before they were striking. They were having to go to food banks. You know, so if I can help in any way I can, and this is the way that I can help, and right now this is the way that I can help, is to grow some extras and get as many out there as possible for those people who really, really need them. I'm going to have my little table outside my house. I am. I'm also going to be putting stuff up on Facebook. I'm also going to be putting stuff up on my website. Once I get that sorted out, which is the blog. If you have a look underneath, there is a blog. And there will be a shop on the blog for a lot of the stuff. So, all the things that I will be able to pop out and do as I can. But yeah. So yeah. Yeah. There you go. So this week we've done all about how to get some money back into your pockets, because it can be hard. I mean, we're going to do, next week will be a quick introductory look to some of the skills. Okay. And then each week we're going to go into one of those skills in a little bit more in-depth way, and the kind of materials and stuff that you may, materials, equipment, tools, all of that kind of stuff. You know, you never know. Annie, I used to live in a cul-de-sac, and I tell you what, the women used to flock to my table. Don't put a negative on it until you've tried it, because you don't know. You don't know. Once word gets around, seriously, I used to live in a little dead-end street. No one went down unless you lived there. A word got around, and I swear to you, I was pulling probably $50 off it every day. Every single day. It was well worth it. So don't knock it till you try it. But I will say that you do live in a very hot country. And I was living in Ipswich in Queensland at the time. So, you know, it is hot. So be aware of that when you put the stuff out. You could even just put a sign up and say, please knock for. That could be an option. You know, things work differently over there. I get that. But you do want to protect your plants if you are going to be selling plants and stuff. So yeah, having them out in the midday sun's probably not a good idea. But yeah. But you got this. You got this. You know, you can do it. You'll find a way, and I know you will. You know, there are all sorts of different ways of doing it, and you will find the way that works for you. Yeah, could you put up signs like they do for garage sales? See, up here for thinking, Pawpaw. See, maybe that's something that you could do once a week, is almost have it like a garage sale and just do it once a fortnight or even once a month. That's another idea. I have my coffee now, Pawpaw. Happy girl again. Bless your heart. I'm in Texas and see signs for plant sales. Yeah. Yeah, you could. You could put up a little sign that says plant sale or whatever it is. Whatever it is. It could be anything, you know, but once you've got them there, you can tell them what else you're doing. You know? Hello, Doozle Snickledom. I think I got through that one all right. Hello. How you doing? I'm kind of just wrapping it up, to be honest. Give me a second. Just got to do something. Be there in a second, guys. Okay. Yeah, so there we go. If you want to go back and watch this, you can. Like I said, the little booklet's going to be out very, very soon. I'll have it all written up, but we're going to go through it bit by bit over the next 6 to 8 months. So yeah, so it's going to be pretty concise. We're going to go through it all. We have to look at it as on a budgeting level, because this is important stuff, because a lot of people are doing this because of the cost of living crisis and desperately trying to find ways to feed their families and to do things for themselves and to learn those skills. So this being the budgeting life, we are going to look at every section from a budgeting point of view. So giving ideas where to buy things, where to get things, how to do things on a very limited budget. Okay. And it can be done. I know it can be done because I'm doing it. Okay. I'm just saying we're doing it. So I know it can be done. All right, guys, I'm going to go. I've had a wonderful, wonderful time here today. Thank you so much for joining me. Please do rewatch it if you feel you need to, if you feel you missed anything. Please do give it a thumbs up because it does help Mr. YouTube to share us out to other people, because the more people that get to this series, the better, I think, personally. And don't be scared to share it out either. You know, if you want to share it out, share it out. If you think that this had some weight and worth to it. Okay, guys. Thank you so very much for joining me today. I love you guys heaps. I will see you here next Friday. But tomorrow, oh, actually, not even tomorrow. For you, today's Friday, right? So for you guys in the States, I will be on Kettle Kitchen's channel tonight for his late night live. Okay, so it's 5 o'clock in the morning for me here in the UK. I think it's 9 or 10 where he is. I don't know, but if you pop over to his channel, you'll see a link for it. Yeah, and I will be there. Okay, Rebecca, hi, darling. Thank you so much for having this live stream to teach us how to be more self-sufficient. Rebecca, you are so welcome, darling. So welcome. I'm so glad you were here. Hi, Crabby. Bye, Crabby. Hi, Janet. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Janet. I will see you guys next week. Okay? See you later. Bye. Mwah. Yeah, 9 p.m. PST. Bye.